Dear ASOSAI colleagues, thank you for the invitation to this esteemed conference, which is organized by SAI Japan as Capacity Development Administrator of ASOSAI and hosted by SAI Philippines. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Matanyahu Englman. I serve as the EUROSAI President and also the State Auditor, SAI, State Comptroller, and Ombudsman of Israel. Also, we are very happy that you have invited us in EUROSAI, and we sent a representative of EUROSAI from the office of the first Vice President of EUROSAI from Slovakia. In this presentation, I will review some of EUROSAI's and Israeli State Comptroller's Office main activities during the last years in the field of audit and fraud corruption. Let me begin by introducing you EUROSAI. EUROSAI is one of the regional organizations of ASOSAI. It was established in 1990. It is composed of 51 SAIs from all over Europe. I can share with you that some of the SAIs are jurisdictional, have jurisdictional powers, and they are organized as court of audits. And some of them, like in my case, are the state auditor office that is elected by the parliament and serves as a state audit office, and not like others that are organized within a court. I can share with you also that as part of EUROSAI, ECA, the European Court of Audit, is also one of our members, and our objective are to promote professional cooperation among members, to encourage the exchange of information and documentation, to advance the study of public sector audit, and to work towards the harmonization of terminology in the field of public audit. And I invite you to visit our website to see many materials that relates to many areas about our activity. Along them, you'll see also the issues of audit on ethics in public sector. And one of, in the area of the activities about audit on fraud and corruption, I would like to introduce two main areas that we are dealing with. One of them is the EUROSAI Network for Ethics. And the other one is the guideline that is published about audit in ethics in public sector organization. As part of EUROSAI Network for Ethics, the network has been established in 2021 by the 11th EUROSAI Congress as a permanent platform for an initial period of 3 years until the next EUROSAI Congress. In 2024, this year, the 12th EUROSAI Congress, headed by me, has approved continuation of the network for ethics efforts at providing a permanent collaboration platform for ethics-related issues. During the period of 2021 to 2024, EUROSAI Network for Ethics has completed the following tasks: focusing on information and activities related to SAI's ethics management and to SAI's integrity awareness raising, ethics-related audit initiatives, and anti-corruption programs. The second one is keeping an updated information flow of those subjects by collecting and disseminating studies, guidelines, reports, articles, information conferences, seminars, workshops, and training courses, and any other related tools. Then, encouraging EUROSAI members to share relevant information, development initiatives and experiences on the mentioned topics with the SAI's community. Also, the group is exploring and sharing knowledge in areas that may raise new ethical concerns, such as the use of artificial intelligence, data protection, and whistleblowing. Another area that EUROSAI Network for Ethics deal with is promoting an active liaison and cooperation on these subjects, acting as a broker and contact point, and putting sides with shared interest in contact with each other or with external partners, such, for example, as you are. The next mission is facilitating contacts that may provide support to SAIs, as they may request regarding the reinforcement of ethics control systems or the promotion of integrity in the public sector organization. And also keeping, as I mentioned before, layers of activities with INTOSAI, IDI, INTOSAI regional organization, and other relevant partners on the topics at stake, and identifying and encouraging EUROSAI SAIs to conduct activities for strengthening their capacity or role in the identified area. In accordance with the EUROSAI mission and vision, objectives, and principles, the network of ethics contribute to EUROSAI community by promoting the theoretical and practical study of the problems and matters relating to SAI's ethics management, to SAI's integrity awareness, collaborating in the exchange of techniques and knowledge considered to be of interest of the EUROSAI members, promoting and facilitating the exchange of information and documentation among EUROSAI members, making efforts to achieve greater understanding of problems and matters relating to the audit of public finance, and especially in part of relating to SAI's ethics management and SAI's integrity awareness raising. By today, 30 EUROSAI SAIs, about 60% of EUROSAI members have joined the group and is participating in it. All EUROSAI SAIs have been invited to share their plans, relevant documents, information, experiences, and good practices. And until today, all in total, over 250 topic-related documents, such as audit reports, studies, guidelines, and articles, were uploaded, as well as a number of links to useful institution platforms and initiatives that were provided. Of course, we are looking forward to initiate and to establish cooperation with external relevant institutions, such as INTOSAI and others. As part of the guidelines about audit ethics in public sector, we are focusing on the following areas. The first one is ethics, integrity, and transparency of state official and civil servants' actions have become a growing focus on public attention. Then the guidelines provide supreme audit institution with practical guidance on how to conduct an audit on ethics or ethics relevant issues in public sector organization. The guidelines are also highlighting the specific approaches, examples, tools, and methods that SAIs can use in auditing ethics. It is in line with INTOSAI principles, of course, SAI 5700 guideline for the audit of corruption prevention government agency, other standards and guidance. Generally, there are three types of audit of ethics: compliance audits, cultural audits, and system audits. Compliance: does the ethics programs meet laws, regulation, and standards? Cultural: how do employees and stakeholders perceive the ethical effectiveness? System: to what degree are ethical principles, guidelines, and processes integrated within the organization system? I would like to share with you some of the examples of audit reports from EUROSAI. One of them is the SAI Austria report about systems to prevent corruption in government departments. The other one is from Hungary, integrity in the administrative culture. Or the one from SAI Croatia, efficiency of the ethical infrastructure functioning in the government bodies. Or I can share with you about the report published by SAI UK, government whistleblowing policies. And finally, you can see some of the list on my presentation, but I will share with you the SAI Estonia report about prevention of corruption in the work organization of rural municipalities. Why am I showing you those examples? Because you are most invited to visit the websites of both each EUROSAI members to find and to look about those anti-corruption reports, or if you wish to, of course, you can enter the website of EUROSAI, and over there are also links to those different reports. Now I will share with you our experience as the state auditor of Israel. First, I would like to share with you our organizational structure. The State of Israel Institute of State Comptroller and Ombudsman is the only one of its kind in the world, as the State Comptroller is also the Ombudsman. Why is it so important? Because from one hand, we published audit reports. On the other hand, we receive many complaints from the public, and we understand where to focus. And this gives us a lot of power how to demonstrate audits on one hand. On the other hand, there is also a very good advantage as resolving all the complaints that we receive in our Ombudsman office. Of course, our reports are also translated to English. We are presenting them to our parliament, but of course, at the end of the day, they are published to the public as part of the transparency and our power to enforce the auditees to adopt the recommendation and to deal with all the deficiencies that were raised in our reports. I would also mention two important roles that we play in Israel as the state auditor in preventing corruption. One of them relates to elections and party financing. We are receiving, in this framework, the state controller audits the financial accounts of parties running in the Israeli parliament, elections, functions, and lists running also in the elections of local authorities, candidates for the head of regional councils, candidates running in the primaries of the different political parties. Additionally, the state controller audits the current accounts of parties represented in our parliament. Another very important role in fighting anti-corruption is the role that all ministers and vice ministers, including the prime minister itself, should by law send us their declaration each year about all their personal funds, all what they earned during the last year, how and what is the accumulated both financial and non-financial assets they have, and we as the state auditor are receiving it on a yearly basis, and we compare it from year to year to see that their income is only from their public position. I can share with you also that in 1977, the Israeli government has decided to adopt a set of rules of ethics for the prevention of conflicts of interest of ministries and deputy ministries, and of course also the prime minister, based on the recommendation included in the report of a public committee. As part of those rules, they determine that the minister will not engage in any business or will not be an office holder, member of management, or any other institute of a group of persons engaged in an activity for the purpose of making profits. And we in the state controller are the ones that are in charge about following up, about their meeting their liabilities and their commitment due to those ethical rules. In general, and I would like to share with you some key figures about our office, we were established in 1949. My term, in order to promote the independence of the state controller, I am elected directly by the parliament for one term of 7 years, which cannot be renewed. In my case, I have already in my 6th year, so I have another 2 years to go on. We audit more than 2,000 public sector bodies, which means each body that receives public funds is subject to our audits, which include not only government offices, but also local municipalities, companies held by the government, NGOs that receive funds from the government, such as the health system in Israel, such as the higher education system in Israel, and others. Yearly, we report and we submit about 110 audit reports to the parliament, and we of course publish it to the public. We have in our office 550 employees, almost 60% of them are women. And as I mentioned before, as my role as an ombudsman, we receive from the public over 21,000 complaints annually. Here you can see the numbers of reports me as the state auditors published from the beginning, almost to the beginning of my term, from 2022 to 2023. We published over 400 reports. Some of them were follow-up reports, and also we focused on area of COVID-19 during the period of COVID-19. How can we deal and how can we execute our role in avoiding corruption and dealing with fraud? From my point of view, we have 3 ways to deal with it. One of them is compliance audit, to examine whether an audited body is addressing the laws, regulation, policies, etc. But we should go furthermore. First of all, I think we should be more involved in performance audit on public bodies about the issue of prevention and treatment. And then, last not least, performing audit on regulatory bodies that are dealing with prevention and supervision and monitoring all public sector, but not only public sector, also the whole business sector of Israel, such as the law enforcement, such as the police activities, such as other activities, how they deal with anti-corruption issues. I would like to share with you some of our audit reports on fraud and corruption. And I would like to share with you some of our findings. For example, we have published a report regarding prevention of embezzlement in government ministries and companies. In this report that was published in May 2022, and you can visit our website to see it, we found out and we presented some key figures. For example, we estimated that the annual damage to Israel due to embezzlement is about between 6 to 9 billion shekel, which is about 1.5 or 1.6 to 2.6 billion dollars. This was from one hand. From other hand, we checked how many government ministries they have policy for ministry-wide risk management or a ministry-wide risk management steering committee. And we found out that unfortunately, there were no government ministries that had this policy of for ministry-wide risk. We also found that 82% of the government ministries and government companies do not use innovative technologies to detect and prevent embezzlement. For example, I can share with you that many of them, 24% of the examined government companies did not formulate a risk management policy. Or, for example, we looked into their information system and no computerized controls for detecting irregularities and trends likely to indicate improper conduct in 7 out of the examined government ministries, which composed 32% of the body that was checked by us. So we checked it in different areas, in different government ministries and companies. Now I would share with you the same report, the same issue that we will examine in local authorities. And you should know that in Israel, there are about 260 local authorities, and their total budget is about 20 billion US dollars, and they employ about 165,000 workers. What were our main findings? We found out that only 2 out of the 21 local authorities that we checked, only 2 of them conducted a risk survey and derived work plans therefrom. Or we checked the issue whether there is somebody that is appointed as a responsible entity to prevent fraud in the local authority. We found out only in 1 case out of 21 local authority we checked, somebody was appointed. We even checked the Ministry of Interior, whether they looked in fraud that took upon in 1 municipality, did they explore the know-how for other local authorities? What was the fraud? How it was handled? How can we prevent it? Another report relates to the preventing of fraud at the Israel Land Authority. You should be aware that Israel Land Authority has an overall budget of about 6 billion US dollars. But we found out that only 3% of their employees underwent training in ethics in public sectors. And we looked how many of them, for example, in the HR, moved from 1 position to other position in order to avoid fraud. We found out very, very few. Another examples of those kinds of reports that I would like to present with you is when we, as state auditor, are checking regulatory bodies that are in charge of anti-corruption. So we looked about the activities of Israeli money laundering and terror financing prohibition authority, how they are handling their information. And I would like to share with you some of them, because we know that in Israel, at least, we, due to international regulation that we are following up in fighting anti-corruptions and money laundering all over the world, there should be many transaction reports from the banking systems to this Israeli money laundering authority. Eventually, there are over 2 million currency transaction reports, and we looked whether they are efficient enough. What are they doing with all those reports? We found out that a large portion of them did not reach IMPA, the international regulation, as required with 2 days of the writing. Or we even looked whether the law enforcement, the Attorney General, is using the data when he is filing to court new files against criminals, whether they use this information. Another report that I would like to share with you is the issue of the law enforcement system's treatment on cyber. Why am I focusing about it? Because I want to share with you that from my point of view, this is a huge challenge all over the world. The estimation of cyber crime worldwide in 2022 amounted to $6 trillion. In 2025, it will reach 10 and more trillion US dollars. And we checked, does our police has the capability to deal with those cyber crimes? I can ask you, in your countries, how many of you faced the situation that somebody stole your credit card and used it, and did you approach the police at all? Did the police knew how to deal with it? In Israel, at least, we found out that almost 90% victims of crimes in cybersecurity did not report those crimes to the police. And in the cases that were reported, most of them, the police closed them because of unknown perpetration, which means that law enforcement all over the world are lacking the capability to deal with cybercrime. I also want to share with you that in the report about anti-money laundering in Israel, we looked about capability building, about how to deal with corruption and money laundering in area of crypto or in change, all change that are all over the country. How is the police dealing with them? What is the regulation about them? How they prevent it in their activities? So you can see that in our case, we tried, besides as our role, of course, as a state controller, where we look into audits that relates to compliance audit. And sometimes we find irregulatory, we find out corruptions, and then, as we are obliged in Israel, we move it to the Attorney General, to the police to be checked with them. I do believe we have two other roles. One of them is to look about the prevention of embarrassment within public sectors. And then the second one is how all of those regulatory bodies, the national regulatory bodies, are operating when they try to deal with the relevant risks about issues of corruption. I do want to share with you that in the main areas that we checked in the prevention of public sector bodies, we focused on the areas of human resources and payroll, whether they have the right set of rules, whether they follow it in order to reduce corruption in payrolls. For example, if somebody is giving a salary when he is not existing at all, or the parts of money collections. Many municipalities or other public bodies are collecting funds from the public. Do the people that are in charge of it, whether they are checked, whether there is internal control to see whether there is a misuse of this money collection in the areas of payments method and also in area of procurement and inventory, to see that all public assets are kept in the right manner, and we don't find suddenly that the public assets turned out to be somebody's personal property due to misbehave. And another unique role that I have as the State Auditor of Israel is also to be the Ombudsman. And as part of it, besides receiving over 20,000 complaints from any public in Israel that might relate to also to fraud or corruption that we received and we can check out, I would like to share with you a very unique position that we have in Israel. And this is the ability of the Ombudsman of Israel to protect whistleblowers. The state controller's laws entitles a person harmed at work due to blowing the whistle on an act of corruption, a severe violation, contravention of a law, or a severe, serious offense of violation of proper governance to complain to the state controller, who serves also as the ombudsman. And me, as an ombudsman, I can grant him a protection. During the last 5 years, we received 245 requests for protection from various employees of public sector that seeked for this protection. We have also published a best practice paper within IOI, the International Ombudsman Institute, related to protection of whistleblowers, which you can see also online, and look at this best practice paper. I can share with you that how are we protecting those whistleblowers. So we can either give them financial compensation, we can revoke, dismissal, and reinstatement. And of course, we can order the public body not to move them from their position. So I have a very strong capability to protect these whistleblowers, and not only to protect them, but also use the information they are giving us as part of our audit reports. Before I conclude, I would like to summarize my presentation. In this presentation, I elaborated on the main activities of EUROSAI and the Office of the State Comptroller in Israel in the field of auditing related to fraud and embezzlement among audited entities. From my point of view, there is great importance in expanding the area of auditing to examine not only how the audited bodies deal with fraud cases after they occur, but also how the audited bodies and relevant regulators can prevent them beforehand. I wish you a productive meeting, and I hope to meet you in mutual activities in the next future. Thank you very much, and enjoy the session.